Hey guys, thanks for watching that commercial break. So Impact just got out of game. Actually, as we came back from the break, I'm going to see what's going on here. Ask for the score. If he still has matches, well, if he still has matches to play, we'll cast him. But if he got advanced over or he's down one game, all right, invite for game 2, please. We cast rest of Impact, Innovation versus Beyond after. Cool. All right, so Innovation versus Beyond will play. He says, make on Whirlwind, please.
Okie dokie.
Okay, so Impact is down one game versus KeeN. I don't think that's super surprising. But I should update chat. A lot of people are really excited for Innovation and Beyond. Literally salivating, according to some. That should be a pretty good series. I'm looking forward to it. I want to make it perfectly clear we are not skipping it. That will be cast here on the stream. But it's going to be cast after we finish up Impact's games. Because, again, for us, we really want to see where Korean Zergs are at. We've actually seen quite a bit from the foreign Zergs. So, down one game, map number 2. It was his choice to go into Whirlwind. Let's see what he's got. Show me what you got.
Yeah. I guess this is a secure no Reaper map, which is what I was interested in watching. Damn. Damn it all.
Alright, well, getting into the game, oh. KeeN 1-0 Impacts. Whoops, that's the wrong score. There we go. Spawning here on the bottom left side of the map. Currently teamless. Just like pretty much everybody in Korea. Feels bad, man. It's Impact.
The top left is the Red Terran. He is KeeN.
You know what I call? You know what I call that intro I just did for Impact?
Marketing?
No, that's my talking to the hot girl intro, where you don't know what you're really saying and you just start trying to get past it. No? Anyways,
I'm waiting for you to do that again.
For those who haven't actually been keeping up with Impact, I think a lot of us knew him when he was on Axiom. Mostly because he was a fan favorite here on the channel, and we got to see him a lot in the Alima League. But then he kind of took the next step up. He got to join SK Telecom, and that's where he was since then. But with every one of the Pro League teams pretty much disbanding, unfortunately Impact finds himself now without a team.
Yep. No, not many people have a team left over. Janair is still fielding some players, but that's about it.
Now again, initial reactions to this were horrible, horrific. Pro League's dead, Korea's dead, Neeb killed him with the Kespa Cup. But we are starting to see some of the silver linings, I guess. A lot of these players now being able to compete in tournaments again. Maybe a lot of these players needing to compete in tournaments again, as they no longer have like a guaranteed salary. I don't know what the case is. But the big part of why we wanted to host this tournament was to see if we could, you know, grow another tournament. That's always cool and good, but more importantly, help these guys out, provide another tournament which they can play in. One of the biggest hardships that we had with Korea, and I think one of the, I can't speak for her, but one of the reasons the Alima League started was Oli Moly saw that there just wasn't anything outside. If you weren't in GSL or Pro League or SSL, there's nothing. That's it. 3 is all or nothing when it came to Korea. So now they've got a couple of weekly events. You've got people like the Leafang Cup happening too. I don't think it's the worst place in the world. There's a lot of events going on. As long as players keep signing up, people will be enticed to throw more. Hell, we'll be enticed to host more.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem, and why we were so eager to try it out here again, is that previous attempts at Korean timed server tournaments did not work out that well. You had the same sign-ups as the Alima League, and oftentimes less.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, and when we, you know, had Koreans actually say, like, can I play, it was a sign of things, I guess, are going to be different. And they certainly are. This is a huge bracket.
I was really glad to see CJ Bunny come up, too, because he was one of the guys that reached out to say, like, can I play, can I play? It's unfortunate he did lose versus KeeN, but still, I hope to see more Bunny and others as time goes on. Especially, I'm not sure the Koreans know about this. Like, a lot of them weren't, like, again, this isn't taking shots. This is explaining some behind-the-scenes stuff to you guys. With Ting Season 1 and 2, a lot of Koreans that we wanted to play were literally not allowed to play. Like, KeeN was told by his team he could not participate. He had to sit on the bench. He had to be available to be a practice partner over his own, like, career as a player. That kind of sucked, to be honest. Now, without that limitation there, I'm hoping Ting Season 3 will field a lot of fantastic Korean players.
Yeah. Sucks that KeeN had to be in the bench, but SOS.
I guess SOS's ban technically would be up. If we host the qualifiers in December, SOS would have been still banned. But if we host them in January, his ban will be up.
Yeah. Well, the Hellbat attack coming in here, this might have been similar to how KeeN won the last game. We don't know, but I'm just saying, like, maybe it was some type of early pressure that ended up getting a big lead, or even just straight up winning. Not that KeeN could win a Mac game versus Impact, but a lot of Terrans are looking for, you know, because that's why it seems to be that 3x are so popular, like, ways to get really ahead in the early game. Like, they're actually kind of scared of the mid-game Zerg. You know, the mid-game, the only difference is the Baneling boost, but this is not that many Marines. It's actually kind of, like, pitiful amount of Marines. But whatever. They're trying. They're helping. This is really not that strong of a Hellbat attack without more Marines.
No, and the additional Hellbats came in a little bit late, so this was just a nice spread out of the Queens to make this look like a very easy hold. And I guess on the one hand, KeeN didn't super dedicate to make this happen, but the dedication that he did put to it wasn't worth it.
No. Impact, if he's all clumped up, spreading creep all of his queens, and you get right on top of them, then that's a bit different. But even then, as long as they're on creep, they should be able to leave and spread and defend.
The Overlords are actually just sitting there.
Yeah, so it's air. And KeeN's gonna go mech, because only against air is gonna be, well, very bad Liberators right against air, and
well, he's putting a Marine.
1 or 2 Marines. Yeah.
I mean, he needs something to push out the Overlords, not just let him sit there and get free scouting all game. But you're right, it's mech. We got weapon upgrades on the way too. I'm excited to see how this works. Again, I'm not super sold on the idea of mech, just generally speaking, but I do want to also bring up, Impact was one of the few people who were able to beat Innovation's mech back in the day. So mech is not exactly something he's got a history of struggling with. Maybe the new mech will be, but I'm hoping to see Impact handle this well.
I forgot about that aspect of Impact. And he's still going to be sticking on the Ling upgrades, and even getting a Baneling Nest. Oh, I guess he technically hasn't seen its mech yet. He's getting so much scouting done. I assume that he figured out, but he's also getting a Roachborn, so I think he is just, like, planning for both possibilities. Because I don't think you're adding in, well, you can go Banelings, Ling Baneling against a mech player. If the Banelings bust through the Hellbats, then the Lings can kind of float on the tanks or on the Cyclones, I guess as it is right now, and still do some significant damage. But it's usually not advised. Since tanks sieged up, you're supposed to be able to just blow up the Banelings no problem.
Well, Liberator does take out a couple of drones, but not many. These Hellbats are actually a lot more scary. Impact has Banelings coming out, but they're not here just yet. Thank you, by the way, to Flying Sheep Man. 12 months on that subs is 1 full year. Yeah! Comment more on that in a moment because the fight's already underway. Banelings get a pretty nice hit for what they can get, and Lings, okay, if they don't do well against Hellbats in a choke, but that surround was pretty damn nice. He pushes us back.
This doesn't look looking so great for KeeN. Just constantly getting pushed back and not. He's not really dealing any, like, enough indirect damage either, I would say. Impact is defending with, like, a solid number of Lings and a solid number of Queens.
Yeah.
Not even, like, wasting time with Roaches quite yet, because I guess he feels doesn't need to. And he's got a Baneling bust? This isn't supposed to work. Hellions are probably better here.
Well, so it might work because the tanks aren't out just yet. By the way, Flying Sheep Man, make sure to send us a message here on Twitch so we can send you the form to fill out to get your part 2. Unfortunately, the Cyclone, trying to bridge the wall, ends up just eating a lot of the hits and is almost dead now for it. Hellbat's going to try and get a nice position, but while they transform, they're pretty much picked off. Baneling rolls into that mineral line. SCV's going to die. Jeez. Trying desperately to repair the Hellbat. It's kind of working for a small period of time, but 17 workers are going to go down, and this looks bad for KeeN. Impact, I think, just tied up the series.
Wow. You counter with the Ling Baneling all in against someone who's going pure Hellions and you win.
Well, I mean, we'd watch people like TLO and some others try that, and like we're like, that's definitely the wrong move to do this particular thing. But I guess when it's mech, it's not so bad. Quick shout-outs, by the way, to Physics X. $16 donated to the prize pool. Says, coffee and StarCraft 2 wake-up hour. Glad you're enjoying StarCraft 2 and the coffee, man. Up to $329 raised for the prize pool. I don't know if there's any codes left, but if there are, get on using them up, guys. We're going to go to a small commercial break while the final map gets made. We'll see you soon. All right, we're back and loading into the third and final match of this series. The winner of this will go on to fight against Classic in the semifinals. But as we said, we'll be casting Innovation versus Beyond first after this, then coming back to visit the winner of this versus Classic. Pretty excited to see what's going to be going on. As people are, I think, very, very keen on watching Beyond and Innovation. See what the impact of that match will leave.
Oh, keeps going. It keeps going.
You think it's done, but it's not. In the bottom left side, we got the red Zerg player. Just tied it up 1-1. It's Impact.
In the bottom right is the blue Terran. He's KeeN.
All right, so I've got an offer. I've got an offer for Twitch chat. You may or may not take us up on it. We're pretty close. We're already, so we were aiming for $300 raised today. We're at 331. I want to see if we reach 400, and that's not a big goal. If we reach $400, I will not reveal the details, but I will tell you guys what our big secret project that we've been working on is during the finals of this cast.
Wow.
Ooh. This is something I will say Zomgrim and I have been working on for quite some time, and it's a big part of why we went to Korea. But you'll have to help the players earn some money if you want to find out what exactly that secret is. So there's still coupon codes available if you're a freebie. You don't want to spend your own money. Make sure to use the coupon codes. If you're in chat with us live, if you're on Twitch, please type !Matcherino. It'll trigger the code, and you guys can see exactly where you got to do, what you got to do, and where you got to go. But if at the same time we don't raise any more money, I'm perfectly content knowing that we got players $331 in prize money today.
We got them moolah.
We all saved esports together this morning.
Okay.
It's an interesting approach though, right? Because I had considered when we started this trying to go the Patreon route, seeing if people would even be interested. But I like the Matcherino. I love doing things with Matcherino. Not because like, okay, maybe people donate $5 or $10 here and there, but the codes I think are a little bit of extra hype when it comes to doing their events. It gets people more active and more involved.
Everyone likes feeling that they did their part.
Yeah, and I'm not exaggerating when I say like $1 matters, guys. Like, you all helped us quite a bit today. Keep in mind, this only started at $100, so as a community, we doubled that prize pool and then tripled that prize pool.
Yep. Oh, the little Ling run by did not work out as Impact wanted. KeeN was keen on the possibility of that build.
No, I already did that.
More interesting.
That wasn't even that good.
Well, that's why you just keep going. You don't wait for the laughs.
Like my pants, that was a bit of a stretch.
Huh. The more interesting thing about this game is that KeeN did not go for 3-Act Reaper. We have seen 3-Act Reaper from everyone, I want to say, on New Perk. So
that's true. We've actually, well, just Terran versus Zerg,
fighting the man, or what's up?
I feel like it's not even map exclusive at this point. Like, if you're fighting versus Zerg, you're just going 3-Act Reaper, and it's weird if you don't.
Right? And this is the question I have now. Like, I understand the Europeans' frustration and North Americans' frustration. I understand why the Koreans are having such a difficult time, but what I don't understand is why the Koreans don't just do what the Europeans are doing to make their Zergs cry tears. Like, what is the difference there?
I'm
they are so hesitant to all in with the Reapers if it works so well.
So I was making jokes with it being the all in, right? Like, oh, we're Koreans, we're more respectable than that. But I think there is this degree where Koreans have been training and trained in like better macro over years of StarCraft than a lot of the foreigners. So I think for them, it is actually more linear and makes more sense to try and get a third CC down rather than over-dedicate to the Reapers.
I guess. Koreans, like, they're the original cheesy little whatchamacallits. So I don't know. Like, you tell Maru, like, you should have started learning macro first. He would have been like, I'm out of this game. I'm out. Same with Leenock, actually. Leenock was so cheesy.
Maru, like, yeah, Maru's like in the middle of building a second barracks. He's like, no, I'm out of here. I'm done. And on his way out, he walks by Marine King, and he's like, Marine King, quit building that command center. Let's go.
Yeah, right. But I don't know. It must be that it's just not as effective as it looks. Like, that's the only conclusion I can really get, which means that the onus is on the foreigners to do something different. But I'm sure they'll.
Well, it's cool though because the trend has slowly been people looking at foreigners. If you guys missed it, Beyond, best Terran player in the world right now. Let's be real. was actually studying Beastie Cutie's VODs when Legacy of the Void first came out. Now when you're watching people like Nathanius stream too, he's really experimenting with a lot of crazy things that might just be the next step for Terran as far as quote-unquote metagame goes. It's I like it. You've got like I feel like the foreigners are the crazy mad scientists, and one of them is eventually going to be right. They'll all try different things.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And you might be right, like, maybe if the Korean Terran's going to be like, actually, 3-Racks, maybe we just all in, guys. Like, in a month from now, that's all they're going to be doing. But I'm just always so curious to see, like, what this is actually going to look like. This is the question of the expansion for me so far. Not necessarily Hydras, but how the 3-Racks Reaper is going to stay in the meta.
It's going to be a question of whether we see Hydras at all. Impact's actually going for a macro hatchery and a Baneling Nest at the same time, so he's going to have a lot of lings on the field. The Queens are unfortunately not going to be pushed back so easily. There's not that many transfuses, but he did get the one that he needed. As long as those medevacs die before all the Queens do, that's mission accomplished.
Awkward pickup. Decided not to.
Then he decides to go back. KeeN is he's like inner turmoil right now.
He definitely wants to distract the Liberator to get some damage done. So just killing creep trimmers is enough. Not really doing a whole lot though. Kills one creep trimmer and then backs off. So the Liberator's being responded to pretty quickly. There's a Spore Crawler to move over too.
Yeah, the Queen doesn't even need to die.
Picks up in the main base. I don't know if Impact was expecting that.
No, plus he was busy responding, and I think he knew that too. Like, he knew the Spore Crawler would be uprooted. He knew he'd have to do something, but without enough Banelings, and especially with no Baneling speed getting on top, this is proven to be very, very difficult. So I love that he kept the Lings back and didn't just funnel them into their death against the Marines. He actually played that pretty safe.
Mm-hmm. If only I had opened a 3x Reaper, the game would have already been over.
I mean, would you have wanted the game to be over though? I want these games to go on to 10 minutes. I don't want to keep watching 6-minute 3-Racks Reapers.
No, I want 60 games, 30 with foreigners, 30 with Koreans. No wait, 20 foreigner versus foreigner, 20 Korean versus Korean, and 20 Korean versus foreigner. I want them all to be 3x Reapers.
That would
be see what happens.
I feel like we could set up the sickest round robin bracket. We would just need to find somebody crazy enough to fund that.
We just need to find the Koreans or the Europeans that are crazy enough to just die to 3x Reapers inside.
We would also need so many casters to cover all the games going on simultaneously.
But exaggeration aside, I really want to see this, like, where this is going to be like ironed out, because, you know, Thermal's 3-Racks in the last patch was, you could expect it. You knew it was just him, and that's like what he did. It wasn't like an overwhelming problem as much as everyone like super complained about it. So I want to see it in this patch, but it's not here, and it won't even see it because it's the last game in this TvZ anyway. Oh, the micro.
If he floods him with the Lings, he'll just kill what's left. I think he knows it too, so that poor Marine is going to die. Does knock down the rock towers on the other side. This will prevent the side swipe, but there's still enough creep spread that this was scary for KeeN. That's a big part of why he's walking away from it. Baneling's coming in, going to catch some of the Marines. Not a bad fight, not a bad hits. Other side of the map, the Lings may have been cleaned up, but the Banelings managed to sneak away, and KeeN actually didn't have vision on these initially, but looks like he will catch them now. No, he's shooting the rocks!
Oh, I thought that would have killed one of the ones in the back. Oh, well.
Yeah, it looked like it was close enough, but I guess it wasn't. The 10 extra health of the Banelings looks like it's enough to help him get to the SCVs. Talk about that speed buff.
Nice. Kills 4 SCVs instead of 0. Got it. The Spire's on the way, upgrades are on the way. KeeN did fall behind in upgrades. A little bit. And Impact is... Okay, actually, Impact cannot get that many mutas. So he has a Spire, but he can't really use it. And he's gonna go for Corruptors. Interesting. If there are already Liberators out, or he knows KeeN loves going Liberators, then totally makes sense, but just having them to kill the medevacs isn't the usual thing to do, although there was some styles that was their only purpose.
By the way, shout out to D. Trombley for the $10 donation to the prize pool. It says, Mo money, Mo StarCraft. Easy. And then Shalasa just subbed brand new. Thank you for joining us on the channel. Yeah, all these subs are going to be getting those Innovation Beyond replays. How excited are you guys right now? Maybe the coolest kids on the block.
Oh, yeah. Learn how to one-base Banshee.
I feel like what's unfortunate is when you do study Beyond and Innovation to an extent, you can only learn so much. You'll never be able to replicate the crazy moves that they make, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's only so much studying you can do.
Well,
Doom drop in the main, not gonna work.
Pushed off.
Luckily, there's not that many Corruptors yet, so we're gonna live. You're gonna live!
Actually, I really like the choice to go for Corruptors, though.
Oh, well.
Widowmine's got some pretty fantastic hits. KeeN pushes Impact back in the middle of the map, and so many legs just popped off.
That was pretty nice. Yeah, Impact definitely chasing off a creep like that was always going to be dangerous, even if there wasn't Widowmine's.
So, what I love about the Corruptor choice I was going to get into that works out so well is if you go Mutas, it's questionable. Sometimes they can do really well, sometimes they don't. You watch Rogue play, Mutas are God mode. But Corruptors have like some of the highest base armor in the game at 2, so they can take hits from Marines. They can float over that army and safely shoot the medevacs, or more importantly, the Liberators down.
Yeah, they're a solid addition to an army. Just usually is... We haven't seen like the Corruptor answer to medevacs. Like, of course, there had to be an answer to Liberators, because Mutas... Well, I guess Mutas wouldn't do the worst nowadays. But the point is, to see them only primarily used against the medevacs is kind of like an old way to play. And even then, it wasn't like the most popular way to play, unless you're going Roaches, which Roach Corruptor was pretty big back in the Heart of the Swarm. So this does mean you can go straight to Broodlords when you have a Hive done. Get that Great Spire. I don't know, but the fact that all the Widowmines...
That should have been like 4 freebie Widowmines. Now he's got to traverse over them, realizing the hits, pulls back. That was a bit of a reach, still gets some kills. But the Corruptors managed to weather the hits and take out a couple of the Liberators.
Yeah, not bad. Getting rid of this front line of Liberators is pretty important, but unfortunately, you gotta be careful not to run over these Widowmines.
He keeps going in, he's just like, how could there possibly be more?
Always more. All Liberators die, now the Corruptors can start chewing away at those medevacs.
Impact's still sitting on like...
off the creep.
Impact's still sitting on like 80 workers behind this, by the way. He's going to have money to replace this. That's not a problem. Macro Hatchery is placed down too, so he's just got Larva for days. This has not been too much of a struggle for him. Usually we see Zerg players really start bleeding out after watching these countless Widowmine hits go off.
He did just go off the creep again right there. I liked that he pulled back. It was just getting into, dangerous territory. There could have been more Widowmines. There's going to be a split. He's playing pretty safe with only some slight, counter aggression to at least, a scare KeeN, who is on 4 bases and is looking strong into the late game, but isn't quite getting there. Impact has his Hive done. He's actually getting Burrow, which is pretty cool. Should be getting a Greater Spire. I guess he could still go for Ultras. Ultra Corruptor is the competition you want anyway, but it's a possibility he goes for a Greater Spire too. He's got it.
We got some more prize pool donations coming in, by the way. A really big one from Shandith. $20. Are you not entertained? And Lunar Civil Wars is saved with a $6 donation as well. So we are actually really close to 400. I may just have to reveal that super duper secret we've been holding on to.
Oh no.
Gosh and golly.
Well, actually, 4 Liberators at a time now. That is substantial. The Corruptors will have a job to do.
By the way, I know a lot of you guys have figured out, I will say half of the secret. A lot of you don't know the full story, and that's what I'm excited to tell you. But we do have a full retreat out of KeeN. He's not really retreating into much, just more bio. But it is off of creep, so it's getting better as these fights go down. Corruptor's still plenty, though. Looking to take out those Liberators on the backside and pick off those medevacs. A lot of Baneleys just popping off on these Marines, though. The spread's not bad out of KeeN, but there's still just so much out of Impact. This is where the macro looks so good. And those extra hatcheries, that extra larva, oh, it shines through right here and right now.
Yeah. Even if he gets all these SCVs, which he should, just cleaning this up.
There we go.
KeeN could maybe still stick in this game for a little bit longer, but the end is near. Impact does choose to go for the Ultraless Cavern. That means that he won't have to worry about the Liberators like you usually do if you only go for Ultras, because Corruptors are already out.
Yeah.
And if the Ultras can't do it, if somehow KeeN continues to hold on, then the option for the Broodlords to siege from afar is there.
Jafar? Aladdin? Who would Princess Jasmine be?
I'm trying to think of what the parents' name was.
Iago?
It wasn't just...
Yeah, it was
Iago.
Iago.
Iago, yeah.
Like Iago cheese.
I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, you're right.
Asiago cheese.
Yes, exactly. Ass. Iago. Well, Impact might not be waiting for the Ultras.
I mean, I'm kind of not convinced he needs them so badly, but they're obviously going to help out a lot. He doesn't want to give away too many Lings before they get out. More Baneleigh's going to roll. Oh, no. Marauders are on rally. These are pretty big hits. There's a big fight going on down here, but he's so distracted. So the Banelings get 9 kills. Rolls on through, but loses a lot of links in the process. Trades out for the bio. Both players sit on similar supply counts. But with chitinous plating and more to the point, 3-3 finishing up. I do want to see the Infestors, but these Ultras are going to be game changers.
Fully upgraded Ultras with 1 less overall armor, but still very effective units. And KeeN is just, he's got one place where he can defend and hope that Liberators and a Choke and covered by Widow Mines, like a perfect setup, can hold on, but he's going to need a 5th base soon. Impact has just completely out-expanded him at this point. Raptors, piss on him.
Oh wait, you can't. Actually, it's funny because Impact, if you guys remember, when Total Biscuit was hosting a lot of the balance test stuff, but the Axiom guys, Impact was one of the first ones using the new corruption ability, and it was super hype. But then they stopped being able to use it on buildings, and he was just so, like, I don't know, confused or frustrated, he, like, never used it again. Like, he would just sit there over buildings, and we're like, you know how to use this ability, what are you doing? By the way, Infestors can cast well burrowed, for those who don't know. We just saw those shots go out, so the Fungals catch the army. He's swooping on in. Liberators are set up, but they're gonna go down to these Corruptors. The Ultras don't barely take any damage. One goes down. The Marines giving chase. But this is not good because KeeN just lost so much army supply. GG.
GG.
It's going to be Impact. Yo, we got PvZ on the top side of the bracket. We got TvT on the bottom side of the bracket. And we have not a guaranteed TvT finals. Nice. We, by the way, did go over $400. So I guess I'll give you guys a bit of a taste before we the whole story will come in the finals. But Matt Fojo just donated $10 to send us over the top. Thank you so much. But I'll tell you after the break. We'll see you guys soon.